many brothers I be sparking and busting, mad like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is a time of month where a lot of the content that we have on the channel is either going to be spoilers or speculations, theories, etc, etc. So if you don't want to be spoiled, because I am going to be talking about stuff that happens in the manga, I highly recommend clicking off the video. So with all that being said though, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are all caught up with the manga and you do not care about me talking about spoilers. So I think that now that we've seen the last Boruto chapter and we've seen that Konohamaru's not dead, first and foremost, who else was surprised to actually see Konohamaru in a manga chapter? It's been over 2 years. I don't know what my man's been doing, but that brings me to this next point right here. So in a battle shonen, when a character's been off screen like this, you would hope that they've done some pretty significant training. And because of everything that's happened in this last chapter, as well as everything that's happened in the 2 years since Konohamaru's been MIA, Konohamaru at his current level can't actually hope to be the sensei at Team 7 in terms of actually being able to protect them, because since Konohamaru's been off screen, they've gone up against an inner member of Car. Granted, they were almost killed by that inner member of Car. I know a lot of people like to misremember what happened in that Boro fight. Yes, Sarada used a Chidori and she was able to land a pretty solid blow on the guy, but Boro was legit about to kill all of their asses before Boruto transformed into Boruto Shiki. If Boruto didn't have that karma seal, the whole crew would have been killed. So I don't want to hear none of that. Boro was toying around with those folks. Boro was not taking them super serious, just toying around with them. But that brings me to this point right here. So we're also in a situation where not only have they done that, but Boruto's seen real combat at the hands of what happened with Ishiki Osusuki, and now Kawaki has joined the squad. And Kawaki is a character that even without the karma seal, because his whole body is a literal scientific ninja weapon tech, Konohamaru, if he were to enter into battle against Kawaki, I'm really wondering, could Konohamaru be in a situation where Kawaki might be able to actually top him in battle? Now, Konohamaru is a very experienced jonin, don't get me wrong. Like if you take what Ukyo Kodachi, the former writer of the Boruto manga, said, Naruto and Shikamaru hold Konohamaru in pretty high regard. They consider him to be one of the geniuses of their generation. So you would think that Konohamaru would be able to win, but the fact is that these characters are training, and at some point they are going to surpass Konohamaru. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they actually surpass him. And if he's going to be an integral part of that team going forward, hands down, he's got to get a lot more powerful. So if they haven't had Konohamaru undergo some type of a training arc while all the events of the Boro/Naruto rescue mission and the Ishiki Osusuki stuff, while all that was going on, if Konohamaru hasn't undergone some type of training during that time, I definitely think that heading into the time skip and during the time skip, Konohamaru needs to get a significant bump, because the threat levels have increased. And now you're also in a situation where we're getting closer and closer to that moment where the Hidden Leaf Village is absolutely demolished. And we don't know what happened. We don't know whether or not Naruto's been actually taken out of commission or not, as far as actually killed, or if Kawaki has him sealed away. But given the fact that we have all that wreckage there, there is the possibility that we're gonna need a new Hokage at that point. And that kind of brings you up to two situations. We don't know whether or not the two 8th Hokage candidates, Sakura and Shikamaru, are even alive during that time. We don't even know if Konohamaru's alive during that time. But if something were to happen to those characters, in order for him to assume that mantle of Hokage and pay off what was said in Naruto chapter 2, that Konohamaru had the dream of being Hokage, and the Boruto animes kind of hinted at it as well, Konohamaru's gonna have to get a lot more powerful, because if this dude is the Kage of your village, you're absolutely screwed at this point, because Kashin Koji was playing around with the guy, and Kashin Koji was able to slap Konohamaru around. So I definitely think that that is something. So as far as for making him more powerful, there's a couple of ways you can actually do it. So you could go the route of skill, to where during that time he joins that very elusive club of people who master all 5 changes in chakra nature without having something like a Sharingan or 6 paths abilities, like that rare club like Victor and Orochimaru and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the first and second Hokage. There is the possibility you could go that route. The other route is I think you need to look at Konohamaru potentially actually training and acquiring some level of Sage Mode mastery, whether he needs assistance like Jiraiya or whether or not he's able to actually enter into Sage Mode on his own. That's one of those things to where I definitely feel like Konohamaru could definitely benefit in this manner, and I think giving him a Sage Mode multiplier is something that could help. Obviously, he's not going to be able to go up against Ada or go up against Code, but at least at this point, we could actually keep everything respectable. And the other benefit that you have is if Konohamaru was able to boost his base up during that time to where he's able to get closer to where Naruto is in base, if you add in that Sage Mode, all of a sudden he's going to be able to put up a pretty good fight and maybe potentially fight alongside Naruto. Now, the question comes down to whether or not you think Konohamaru has the chakra reserves to even attempt to learn Sage Mode. That's part of the thing. You have to have a high chakra reserve in order to even attempt the Sage Mode training. So that kind of comes down to whether or not you think that's something Konohamaru has. I tend to lean more so on the side that he does have a pretty decent chakra pool, and I think he would have enough to actually attempt the training. However, that's just my own headcanon, because we haven't actually seen enough from Konohamaru as an adult to actually make that assumption. Now, one other way I definitely think you could kind of play around with Konohamaru actually getting a lot more powerful is if you also go the route of Konohamaru continuing to embrace the ninja weapon tech, because we saw in the Boruto movie, this was cut out of the Boruto anime, but in the Boruto movie, Konohamaru was using ninja tech, and in the Sasuke Shinden light novel, Konohamaru was also testing out ninja tech even further. And so if you have something to where he's able to start using perfected ninja tech, that is a way maybe you could actually have this guy kind of move forward. And then when you look at what Amato has, where Amato's able to actually start modifying people's bodies, I think that if you give Konohamaru some of those mechanical upgrades as well, that could be a way to actually start beefing the character up, and it would be something that would actually make sense. Now, for people that will say that makes Konohamaru an android, that just technically makes him a cyborg, because he would still have his heart, he still have his blood, he just have mechanical enhancements that would be done to his body. So that is one other option that is available for the character. I personally wouldn't like to see something like that, but I do think that because of how out of control Kawaki is going to get as things continue to press forward, because he's clearly on that path of wanting to be essentially the next Sasuke, power by any means, Konohamaru is going to have to be strong to actually keep Kawaki in check. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.